What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to have a look at a few last cards from OP08. There is a decent chance this is the last video I'm going to do showing you new cards from OP08. I've shown you most of what I think is worth showing you, but there are a few characters who are making their debut in OP08, who are coming around in OP08 for the very first time, and I think some of these are absolutely worth having a little bit of a look at. Sound like a plan? Excellent. So let's start off with one that's a little bit special to me. It's Lepan, and the reason this one is a bit special, there was a gacha. I don't do gacha very much, but I did one at the Bandai Cross store over in Camden in London. Obviously went to pick up some One Piece TCG stuff, and there were 4 animal characters available. And I love Chocho, and I love Laboon, and I like Kung Fu Dugong. This is the only one I didn't want, which of course means it's the one I got. And now I love it. And now it's in the TCG. And this makes me very happy indeed. What we've got here is free cost, 3,000 power, counter plus 1,000. And we've got Don X2. When attacking, if your leader is Drum Island, then you get to KO a 4,000 power or less character of your opponents. That's not bad. Now, admittedly, it's Don X2, but then again, when you're attacking, generally speaking, most leaders have 5,000 power, right? So, if you're attacking into the leader, you need a minimum 5,000 power. So, you probably need to have 2 Don on your Lepan anyway. So, it's maybe not the end of the world, is what I'm saying here. And then you get to KO a 4K or less? Yeah, that's not bad. Obviously, it needs to be a Drum Kingdom leader. So we're talking Tony Chopper. This is a card which is very much designed to be played with Tony Chopper from the new set. And yeah, it's not too bad. I'm not loving that you have to put 2 Don on there, obviously. But you're probably going to want 2 Don on there most of the time. And then you get to KO a 4,000 power or lower. That sounds alright by me. While we're talking about red cards, white creatures, how about Hiking Bear? Free cost, 3,000 power, counter plus 2,000. I'm enjoying the counter plus 2k. Don X1, activate main, once per turn. Give one of your animal characters, other than this one, plus 1,000 power for the turn. It's not bad. Now, admittedly, again, it's Don X1, so you're going to need to make sure you're making use of that Don, getting a decent attack off with Hiking Bear. But then you get to boost one of your characters by 1k. Every turn. And it is an activate main. You don't have to attack. But then again, why would you attach 1 Don to boost another character by 1k when you could just attach a Don to that character? But still, putting a Don onto this and essentially having it count on this and something else, plus you got counter plus 2k as well. I'm not claiming Hiking Bear is some kind of absolute powerhouse monster character, but I am saying it's not too bad. And I kind of like it. And one more red card, white character. How about Robson? Some giant furry hippo thing. It's Drum Kingdom again, obviously. And we've got free cost, 4,000 power, counter plus 1,000. Don X2. This character gains Rush. I actually really like this. Now, you need to have the Don X2 to put on there, so really, it's a 5 cost 6k with Rush. That's not too bad. And if you're looking for animal cards or Drum Kingdom cards, for instance, this will work very nicely indeed. Remember, your Chopper leader says that activate main once per turn. You choose 3 of your animal or Drum Kingdom characters and attach 1 rested Don to each. Yeah. So maybe we go back and have a little bit of a look at the ones we've already looked at here. Because Lepan, Don X2, but 1 can be put on with Tony Chopper. Hiking Bear, Don X1. Well, that will just be activated by Tony Chopper. Robson, Don X2. Well, 1 goes on from Chopper. And actually now these start looking a little bit better. In a non-Chopper deck, they're alright. I can see a point to them. But if we then look at them specifically in the context of a Chopper deck, where you are hopefully every turn putting an extra Don on them, So that actually Robson is essentially a 4-cost 6,000 power with Rush. That's really good. Hiking Bear, you get to boost one of your characters by 1k, but the Don you attach to it is rested, so you couldn't have just attached it to another character anyway. Which makes me look at it a little bit differently. Lepan here needs Don X2, but one of them's going on from Chopper. This makes a big, big difference. And then obviously this is kind of where we're going here. This all starts making sense because all of these characters have, you need to put Don on to activate the skills, but then Tony Chopper puts the Don on very nicely. And while we're talking about these red characters getting boosted up by Tony Chopper, it's not just the leader. There's also a super rare character, Tony Chopper, which is going to help out a lot here as well. Because we have got on your turn, when you play and when you attack, i.e. it happens every turn, on the first turn when you play and then every other turn when you attack, you get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck, find an animal character with 4,000 power or less and just play it rested. Which is absurd! You get to play an extra, and fine, you play it rested, so your opponent can try taking it out straight away, blah, blah, blah. But the point is, you get to play an extra character when you play Tony Chopper and when you attack, and it's 4,000 power or less. And look at the characters we've looked at so far. Lepan, 3,000 power. Hiking Bear, 3,000 power. Robson, 4,000 power. All of these can be played for free by Tony Chopper. And then be given extra Don by your leader. This is adding up quite nicely, and I love it. I'm not saying that this is going to be super good, but I am telling you it is something I'm going to be playing around with. You're telling me I can make a deck with Robson and Lepan and Hiking Bear? Oh, you better believe I want to make a deck with those. But there is an interesting blue card we've not looked at yet that does get their first ever card in the One Piece TCG, and it is Apalandra, described by OnePiece.fandom.com as an extremely tall but slender woman, and obviously part of the Kuja tribe, which is interesting, of course, because Kuja Pirates, you're looking at the Boa Hancock leader, that wasn't in OP08, that came around in OP07. Still a fairly recent leader, don't get me wrong, but we're not looking at this set, we're looking at the previous set. And what we've got here with Apalandra is 3 cost, 4,000 power, counter plus 2,000. The counter plus 2,000 is incredibly important. And it says that you may return this character to the owner's hand, and then you get one of your opponent's characters of a cost of 1 or less and put it at the bottom of their deck. But remember, you've got counter plus 2,000. So when you put this back into your hand, you've got a counter plus 2,000 you can use, which is a very big deal. And you've also got a decent attacker while it's out there. 4k is not amazing, but it's not terrible. And then you've also got the fact that you're getting rid of one of your opponent's characters off the board as well. And I'm just saying, this seems like it might be kind of relevant. Again, you've got to play it with Boa Hancock. If you don't play it with Boa Hancock, then it's a vanilla character that can return it to your hand. Now, to be fair, that's not terrible. And the rule with these cards is, again, correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong about this, activate main, put it back into your hand, then look to see if you can do the skill. So I do believe if you weren't playing a Kuja Pirates leader, you would be able to just bounce this character back to your hand, play it, use it as an attacker, bounce it to your hand, and then have a counter plus 2k ready. But I just don't know why you would. This is clearly a card that works with Kuja Pirates. And no, Kuja Pirates are not exactly big in OP08. That really was an OP07 thing. But you know what? We got a new good Kuja Pirates. One that is worth talking about. And now I am. So yay. And I have double checked to confirm it is the only Kuja Pirates card in OP08. But I do think it is a really nice little bonus that can be used in those Boa Hancock decks from OP07. So I do think it was absolutely worth mentioning here. Want some more cards that are making their debut, the first ever appearance? Well, I got a pair of beauties for you. I got a pair of birds for you. And we've got ourselves Count Chicken. Although I'm going to be honest with you, it depends how you come down on this. It is the first Count Chicken card that we've actually had. That is true. However, I mean, I suppose minor spoiler for One Piece, though at this point, come on, it's on the cards. It's Tamago, who has been in the card game before, but we haven't had this form, so yeah. Count Pigeon, Count Niwatori. I mean, I'm just going to leave that one up to you there. We got 6 cost, 7,000 power, counter plus 1,000. And we've got, during your opponent's turn, when KO'd, Don -1. And you go and get a Baron Tamago, an Egg Baron, with a cost of 4 or less from your deck. And play it, which is incredibly important. You don't have to have it in the discard. You don't have to have it in your hand. As long as it's still in your deck, you can go and search for it and play it for free. So essentially, this is a good attacker, 6 cost, 7,000 power, yay! But when you get KO'd, sure you have to Don -1, but it's purple, you're used to Don -1, you've got ramping skills, you'll be fine. And then you go and get to have another character for free, which is awesome. Now, I told you Tamago hadn't been making his debut, it's a character we'd seen before, and we have. And there's 2 options, both of which will count here. Now, we had the vanilla one from starter deck 7. 4 cost, 6,000 power, counter plus 1,000. It's fine. Decent vanilla character. And again, the whole point here is you're swapping 1 for 2. You've got Count Chicken here. And then when that goes down, Baron Tamago just comes back out again. And you're like, I've still got another character ready to go. There is a new Baron Tamago did actually come around, or Egg Baron, in this particular set. And what we got here is 3 cost, 4,000 power, blocker. And on KO, Don -1, you may play a Viscount Hyoko or a Viscount Chick from your hand. And it's just Don -1, you get to play it from your hand. Now, this is from your hand, not your deck. Which is super annoying, incidentally. However, it is a Big Mum pirate, so it is searchable with stuff like Charlotte Linlin, which isn't perfect, I know. You do have to have this one in your hand, and I don't love that you have to have this one in your hand, but you have to have this one in your hand. I'm sorry. But then you get to Viscount Chick, Viscount Hyoko, and here's the thing. 5 cost, 6,000 power, counter plus 1,000. When KO'd on your opponent's turn, Don -1, search your deck for a Count Chicken. Count Niwatori. Niwatori is just chicken in Japanese. Literally means garden bird, which amuses me. And play it. There is an infinite loop going on. It's not really an infinite loop, alright? But there is absolutely a possibility here. Count Niwatori gets KO'd, turns into Baron Tamago. Baron Tamago gets KO'd, turns into Viscount Hyoko. Viscount Hyoko gets KO'd, turns into Count Niwatori. And you just go round and round and round. Now, the only awkward thing here is when Tamago goes down, Hyoko has to be played from your hand. Now, interestingly enough, doesn't have to be KO'd on your opponent's turn, but it does have to be played from your hand. Niwatori goes and gets Tamago from the deck. Hyoko goes and gets Niwatori from the deck. But Tamago has to be played, or has to play, from the hand, and that is very annoying. But you can essentially pay for 1 character, and then it turns into 12. Tell me that doesn't sound like an awful lot of fun. So there we go. I told you I was going to show you some characters we hadn't seen before, and I've gone and shown you some new animals, which are really interesting with Turny Chopper, a random one-off Kuja Pirate, and then we got your Baron Tamago here doing Baron Tamago things, and obviously if you've read the manga or watched the anime, you're going to look at this and go, hang on a second. That makes perfect sense. I kind of appreciate that. So there we go. That's what you need to know. And now it's over to you guys. Do any of these cards change what you think about some of the decks from OP08? Are any of these going to make it into your testing pile? Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing is always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.